You'll see why it is that we needed this little thing back here. Because I can't. See, if you, look. I love this university. I really do. I've been here one day. I've seen most of you more than I've seen my own mother this month. It's been great, and you know, I have to thank the Tiffin community and the university for hosting me. And inviting me here. Bonnie, thank you very much. You know, I think that this university, I think you've got something special here. You've got a great, it reminds me a lot of Fuller International University when we first started, and when I went to school there, and now it's just a you know, huge university. You guys are growing by leaps and bounds, and you should be really, really proud of what you have here. So thank you, and give you guys a hand. Really, great job. I'm gonna wake you up with a video that I produced a few years ago, and it's an Olympic highlight video. And when you're watching it, I want you to keep in mind that these individuals are ordinary people. They're ordinary people that achieved extraordinary things. And we're all ordinary people, and we can all achieve extraordinary things. It was just a matter of focus. It was just a matter of passion. And once you see this, once you see just the energy that these athletes had and the passion they had for their sport, you'll really understand why it is that these athletes were successful. It's not because they were extraordinary. It's not because they were superior athletes. I wasn't a superior athlete. Look at my height. I'm a little girl, you know? But I overcame that and made sure that I used what I had to my advantage. I had the passion, I had the drive. What made these ordinary people extraordinary? They, every day, woke up and did something that pushed them closer to their goal. And it's hard to do that. I had a hard time doing that. I mean, I would wake up, and my regimen was 5 o'clock in the morning, I'd get up, because I was working, and I had to run, which was not my sport. I didn't like running, and it was part of my training, so I got up at 5, and it was cold and damp and yucky, and every morning I'd go, do I really need to run? Really, do I need to run? I mean, I'm a fencer. You know, I was talking myself into, I don't need to run. We should just go to work and then go fence afterwards. So I would get up, I'd finally go, no, you know, it really has shown that you need to train all around and cardiovascular, yada, yada, yada. So I'd talk myself, and I'd get up and I'd run. I had a friend that would help me because they knew that that was my weak point. And all of us have our weak points. You need your support around you. I had someone call me, a friend of mine was nice enough to wake up at 5 o'clock every morning, give me a call and said, what are we doing today? I'm like, I guess I'm running, you know. She goes, no, seriously, are you gonna run? I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna run. So once you tell someone you're gonna do something, you gotta do it. They woke up at 5 o'clock in the morning to ask you what you're doing. So I got up and I'd run. And thank goodness, because that cardiovascular all attributed to me being able to make the team. It wasn't just fencing well, it was the all-around training. And it was the discipline. Because honestly, it made me feel good after I did that run. After I didn't want to do it, after I was fighting it, but after I finished, it was like, yeah, I'm going to be an Olympian. You know, this is all going towards that. And every day, you have a choice. Every day, if you pay attention, there are things that you do and you don't want to do, but you do it because it's furthering your goal. Whatever it is that you've set your goal to be, you wake up, there's something you're going to do today that's going to push you closer. And a friend of mine, a fellow Olympian, Marilyn King, got a whole group of us Olympians together. I mean, small, big, large, you know, tall, you know, weightlifters, everybody. And she did a seminar with us and synthesized what it is that we did. What was this Olympian thinking? What did we do that made us Olympians or made us successful? And this is across the board. Successful business people. I mean, this is not just Olympians. It's not just athletes. It's really any successful human being. What do you do? Well, she came down to you have to have heart. You know, you have to have passion. You have to have passion for whatever it is you're doing. Without that passion, it's hard to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and do anything. But if you have that passion, it will. You'll be forced. There's the vision. You have this clear vision of what you're looking for. It has to be very clear because you know the old saying of be careful what you wish for? You may get it? It's true. It's true. I was wishing to make the Olympic team. It never occurred to me to wish to medal. And you know what? I made the Olympic team. But my vision was very clear. Make the Olympic team. And on hindsight, it's like, what happened here? You know, I didn't see that I could do more. I didn't even occur to me to medal. Panama's never medaled in fencing, so why would I medal in fencing? Occurring and having a clear vision of what you want is almost as important as the actions, because the actions follow the clear vision. Your brain is wired to do what you have programmed it to do. If you're thinking, this is what I'm going to be, I want to be an Olympian, it starts helping you. It starts going, you know, if you sleep in, you're not going to have time to do that 5 o'clock in the morning run. And if you don't get up and do that, that's all part of your training, and your coach is going to be upset, and all these sort of things. And you start, like your brain is helping you, but you really want him to go quiet because you really want to sleep some more, you know. But your brain really helps you if you're very clear. And this was an example. Was my friend taught this Olympian thinking to a group of kids that were inner city kids. And this is an amazing story. This kid was getting in fights every day, getting in trouble in school. This was a 10-year-old kid. He would go to school, and all he ever did was end up in the principal's office because he was in a fight. What did he do? He came and he said, all right, I want to learn how to be a better, person because I'm fighting all the time. She goes, all right, let's sit down and see what you want to do in life. What does he want to do? You're 10 years old. If you could do anything you want, I want to be a football player. They all want to be a football. I want to be a football player. Okay, let's go down that path. So what does it take? Well, who's your favorite football? Oh, Joe Montana. Okay. What did it take for him to be who he was? Well, he went to, did he go to school? Yeah. He went to, did he go to university? Yeah, he went to university. So how did he get to university? Well, do you have to graduate high school? Like, yeah, you have to graduate high school. So how are you going to graduate high school? Do you think you'll graduate high school if you're fighting every day? Do you think you have to study? It's like, yeah, that's true. Fighting wouldn't hurt. But they pick on me. It's not my fault. It's just where I am, and that's what's going to happen in my life. And this, I don't think I'll ever be a football player. So she made him write everything down. The next week when she met with him, he came in and she said, so how'd you do? He goes, I didn't fight. And he goes, really? You really didn't fight? He goes, yeah. You mean nobody picked on you? He goes, oh yeah, they picked on me. But just as I was going to turn around and smack him, I thought, I'm going to be an NFL player. Oh my God, it brings me to tears. It really does. Unbelievable change. This child has grown up. He didn't become an NFL player, but you know what? He went to college on a football scholarship, and he came back to the community, and he's coaching football. I mean, it works. And we all know, all of you sitting here, the amazing part is that we've all done it. Every single one of us in this room has done exactly that. You had a vision, you pursued it. Every day you made a choice. You either studied or you didn't study, and you made friends and you found your path and you succeeded at what you your passion was. And that is so important to understand that that doesn't go away. It doesn't go away. Every day, there's a new opportunity. There's more stuff for you to do. It's like there's new goals and new avenues to pursue. And if you pay attention, it's all right there in front of you. And we don't have to go to school to learn this. It's really innate in you to be able to focus and be able to look at what to feel what it is you're passionate about and pick that and pursue it and do it. The brain, you know what I was saying, that you have to train your brain, as your brain tries to help you, it says, you need to get up, come on, and then there's another part of my brain. I like how I'm like schizophrenic or something, because I have the other side of my brain going, yeah, but you know what? You've done enough. I mean, last night, you had to do 100 lunges, and so that's enough, really. That should spill over to today. Is run, really, if you think about it, I mean, really. I really believed that. And it wasn't true. You can't do that. So my other side of my brain is, it's not true. You need to get up and run. You need to go and do your regimen. And you're fighting with yourself all the time. And who wins in your head is how you train your brain. If you train your brain every day to do the extra mile, your brain that says you need to get up and run at 5 o'clock is going to win more than the one that's trying to rationalize it's okay and it's enough and I've really done enough and, should be all right. Every day I walk through life looking at things and observing and seeing what's around me. If there's a piece of paper on the floor, I pick it up and I throw it away. Something as simple as that trains my brain to pay attention, to take the extra mile. The successful individuals, the difference between an athlete that was on that film and an athlete that you see just walking the streets is that much. It's that much. And that running was that much. It really was. I mean, it's not that simple, of course, but it's that perseverance. It's that, all right, I'm going to do something even though I really don't want to do it, because I know at the end of the day, the goal is there. So when I was, I have a really funny story about this coach that came up to me. He's a famous coach. His name is Giorgio Santelli. He's now passed away, but he was one of the best coaches in the United States at one time. And I went up to his fencing sal, and I was just there visiting from Florida. I was this little punky kid that was right on the cusp of doing well in fencing, and he looked at me. He goes, "Hey, Shorty." "You talking to me?" "Yeah." He goes, "Yeah, you? Do you see anybody else shorter than you here?" I said, "Yeah, all these people, I never thought I was short, I said, "I didn't realize I was that short." He goes, "Yeah, you're the shortest one here, so come over here." And I'm all intimidated because the guy's 4-time gold medalist, world champion. He's put out probably 5 Olympians by that time. And I was like, I said, "Yeah, come here. Bring your foil." I said, "Oh, man, what's he going to do?" So I bring my foil. He goes, I've been watching you, and I want to give you a lesson." I said, "Really? Okay, I never thought I would get a lesson from the big maestro Giorgio Santelli, and my knees must have been like, ew." And I said, "Right now?" He goes, "Yeah." I said, "Okay." So I get on guard, and I start to do the lesson with him, and he goes, "We're going to do 10 touches, and you're going to hit me all 10 times, one after the other." I'm like, "Okay." With a coach, they let you hit them. That's what coaching is, those are your coach. You're teaching and you're letting them, do the move, and you're giving them the opening in fencing. So I thought that's what he was going to do. Oh, no. Oh, no. I stood up there, and he goes, "On guard?" I'm like, all ready, and I'm ready for my lesson. And he goes, fence. I said, well, what action do you want me to do? I'm not sure. He goes, I want you to fence. I said, no, you don't understand, sir. I know, you have your patterns, but I just am not sure, which attack you'd like me to use to attack. He goes, I just want you to fence. I thought, wow, okay, I guess I can do that, but you're Giorgio Santelli, He goes, just fence. And I said, okay, wait, and then I realized what was going on. I said, wait, now, you want me to touch you 10 times in a row, and you're going to fence me? He goes, yes, and you can do it. I've seen you fence. And so I stood up there, and I was shaking, but he says, just remember what you know. Let your muscles do the work. So I made it all the way through to 9 touches. I mean, it was really hard. He was calling me names all along. He kept going, you move like a hippopotamus. I'm like, what do you mean I move like a hippopotamus? He's Italian, so he had this great accent, and he had this voice, Barbara, you move very slow. You must move faster to hit the great Maestro Santelli. I'm like, okay. And he started getting me mad because it was like he's calling me all these names. So I got more and more intense, and I got 9 touches straight in a row. It was really fantastic. I was ready to just celebrate, and I was really tired. And I said, he says, 9 touches. Pretty good. It's fantastic. I'm happy. I'm happy. He goes, are you done? I said, I think that's good enough. He goes, good enough for who? And I said, that's good enough. 9 touches on the great Maestro Santelli. He says, do you want to be a great athlete, or do you want to be a good athlete? I said, I want to be a great athlete. He says, 9 touches? That's not good enough. I said, well, it's good. Honestly, I think it's good. I'm tired, and to get that next touch is going to be something. He goes, that's right. It's going to be something. So do it. And this old man, now this is an old man. This was like, he was 75 at the time. And so I'm thinking, he's running back and forth and doing all this stuff, and I'm 22. And he says, you got 1 more touch to go. And that touch lasted as long as the first 9 touches to get on him. And that last touch taught me that good enough is not good enough. If I really think good enough, that means that there's something better. Why wouldn't I do that little bit to make it the best? When you're painting the walls, and you get to the end, and you're done, you think, and you see this kind of clearish spot there that you missed. Good enough. It's good enough. We'll put a plant there. We'll do something to hide that spot. Why? Paint the thing, I have to stand there against the wall all the time at that spot now because, I know the spot's there. Well, that's silly. And those are the things we do all the time. Oh, it's good enough. It's good enough. Don't worry. And that extra minute, literally, some of these things that we say it's good enough takes another minute, another maybe 5 minutes of your time to just do it right, and then it's done. And that 10th touch really cemented the not good enough thing. Every time my brain says good enough, I think of that 10th touch. And I think, I did that 10th touch, even though I was tired, and he was calling me a hippopotamus, and he was, being on me. It was worth it. One of the things that this whole process has taught me, and life gets in the way too, you're tired, and you come home, and, you don't want to pick up that tool that you left there on the floor and put it where it's supposed to be. But the reality is that if your brain's telling you, you should pick up that tool and put it away, you should pick up the tool and put it away. That's really it. This is the side of your brain trying to get you to your goal. And you need to pay attention to it. We all think we've got these little voices in our heads and our little guardian angels telling us, be careful here or do this, you need to listen to it, because our brains really are a magnificent instrument. And if we train it properly, it really, not to be lazy, not to go, it's okay, oh, it's okay, oh, I'll get it later, oh, that'll wait, or no big deal, let's just, nah, don't worry. When we start training the brain to do that, it will always, like, take over and go, all right, let's not worry about that. Let your brain actually help you and give you those pointers. Go do it. I should do that. Do it. Not just I should do it. You obviously know you should do it. Let's do it. So I think that if anything today, as far as what your brain can do, I'm going to give you one. I don't know how much time you say. How are we doing with time? We're doing all right with time? I'll give you a couple more stories. Time? I'm good? Okay. I was fencing once in a preliminary round, and this is where it's no big deal. I thought the preliminary rounds were no big deal. They were no big deal to me because I was this elite athlete, and the preliminary rounds are all beginners. So I should have no problem winning. But really, anything you do, any beginner is easy to beat. Well, that's exactly what my brain was telling me, and I was like so lackadaisical, I don't have to worry about this round. And this round happened, this tournament happened to be a very important tournament. I had to get in the finals in order to get enough points to continue on my Olympic quest. And in the preliminary rounds, my coach, and I usually am down here so that I can show you what happened, but my coach was sitting there, and I'm fencing, and the first bout, it was a pure beginner, and literally the girl just like closed her eyes or something and stuck her sword out like that and hit me. And it was like all 5 touches, she did that miraculously. Boom, 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 boom. Close her eye, bump, bump, hit me. I thought, no, that's okay. That's just one person in that, that round. I'll be next one, no problem. Next one, same thing. I was asleep or something. I got hit 5 times, literally 5-0. And I never lost 5-0. This was like unprecedented. Everybody's like, Barbara, are you okay? Are you all right? And my coach is like, come on, snap out of it, wake up, do whatever you need to do. Just let's get going, Barbara. You need to make it out of this round. This is not the important stuff. You need to get out of there, but you need to focus. So we have 5 in the bout. Okay, 2 of them had already beaten me. For me to make it out of that round, I needed to beat the next 3 people. I really needed to win. So the next person gets up there, and this little girl, I mean, really, she probably was, I don't know, 15 years old, really young. She gets up there, she's all excited, and she's all ready, salute everybody. We start on guard. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba, bam, she hits me. Lucky hit, again, I'm thinking lucky hit. She did that 4 times. Now remember, 5 touches, and I'm done. My coach has left the gym. He couldn't take it anymore. He just like, I'm going to have a heart attack here. I need to get out of here. Maybe it's me. He was thinking, maybe it's me. Let me get out of here. I had and in the preliminary rounds, you have all your friends directing, are the people who are actually directing the bouts. And this person was a friend of mine. And I said, I need to take my mask off. I need to tie my shoelaces. You know what you do when you get flustered. All right, let me break the sequence here. Tie my shoelaces, untie them, tie them up, and tie them up. I said, can I take my mask off? She goes, yeah. I take my mask off. And the kid thinks, oh, well, I can take my mask off too. So the kid takes her mask off. And I look at the kid, and I think it was my own brain talking to me, but I said it out loud. I said to her, I said, hey, do you know who I am? She goes, no. I said, well, my name's Barbra Higgins, and I am current sectional champion, I am divisional champion, and I won this tournament last year. You're not supposed to be beating me. And she goes, really? And my friend, who should have stopped it a long earlier, she goes, Barbara, put your mask back on and get back on guard. You're not supposed to be talking to the opponent like that. I just was flustered. So I tied it up, and I'm on guard again. And the kid froze. The kid couldn't do anything after that. Then I felt bad because I had just intimidated this poor child. However, I needed to make it out of that round, so it worked. But I later talked to her and said, listen, you know, I need to tell you that you would have beaten me had you not decided that you shouldn't be beating me. Or had I not told you, you weren't supposed to beat me. And she was like just so happy to have fenced me and all this sort of thing. And I said right then and there, I said, wow, that is an incredible power that, you know, the brain, I mean, immediately she changed. She would have beaten me. There was no doubt in that. I ended up, you know, making the finals and making, you know, going on to the Olympics, but it was scary stuff. And at the Olympics, the same thing happened to me. We were training at the training center, and you go 2 weeks in advance to get used to the surroundings and stuff. And there was a friend of mine, an Argentine fencer, and I said, let's just practice. I got up on guard, and my foil felt like it weighed 50 pounds. I could barely hold my foil, and it had to do totally with nerves. I was like in the Olympic stadium, you know, this is where I'm going to fence, and you know, your brain just kind of goes, wah, and it sapped me of this energy. I hadn't had any strength. Thank goodness. I had a great coach. Said, all right, come here, Barbara. We need to work, blah, 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 and got me out of that mode. But it is, every day I'm amazed at what the brain does to us, either good or bad. So I want to leave you with the thought of when you think it's okay and it's good enough, think about it again and make sure that looking at it from the perspective that everything matters that you do, everything. I mean, it's just amazing what happens when you pay attention in the world and start looking around you and start really paying attention to what you want and focus on the future and let your brain tell you, is good enough? No, it's not good enough. So thank you very much for having me, and I hope you go away with some little bit of inspiration here and do what you can do, because you all are very successful people. Just keep doing what you're doing, just pay attention more. Thank you. If I can get down.
Let's take some questions.
Oh, yeah, I could do that.
Questions for Barbara?
Yes.
You've talked a lot about your athletic experience. You've also been successful in the business world. Talk a little bit, if you would, about the lessons learned from athletics. Obviously, some of these apply to any profession or activity, but a little bit what you've done in the business world and how those lessons have been helpful.
It's a good question. You know, how have I transferred some of the skills that I learned as an athlete, and how has it helped me in the business world? I think as an athlete, you learn not to be intimidated at all and to just go for it. If you have an inkling that you can succeed at something, you just you have a clear vision, and that taught me in business the same thing. When I enter any negotiation, any type of employee meeting, anything like that, I have a very clear image of what I'm trying to accomplish. If you go in thinking, well, I just want to make everybody happy, and you know, that's not going to work. You need to have a real clear objective, and that's what athletics taught me, because if I had, you know, well, I just want to, you know, make the Olympic team, didn't have a sport, just kind of in general, that's not too good. You need to have a much clearer vision of how you're going to do it, what's the sport, where you're going. Business is the same way. When you negotiate a contract or when you build a business, you have to have a really clear vision of what that business is going to look like. And once you have that, then you could share that with your employees and make it a vision that everyone is included in and understands. So once, the same thing with the university. The university has a very clear vision, and all the professors and everyone involved in the university understand that clearly. And every day, everyone who works at the university works with that in mind, that that is our goal. So when you make decisions, you're using those premises to make that decision. So that's what I learned, and I'm using in business. Mm-hmm.
So what's your gold medal performance in business, your Olympic performance in business? What, because you've been in so many areas, and what's like, wow, that was it?
You know, every business had a wow moment. Every business I've been involved with had a wow moment because it was always a business that's never been done before. It wasn't something that, all the businesses I was involved with, because I'm in San Francisco, it's a startup land, you know, so you're coming up with new ideas all the time. And they were new, and the challenge was getting a venture capital, people with the money, to have faith in you enough to invest in you. And every time we got a VC to say yes, that was a gold medal performance, because it required a lot of convincing, you know. Yeah. Any other questions about Panama, about the Olympics, about business? Yes.
When you think about, you know, you are quite the entrepreneur. You think about all these different businesses you've been involved in, and you've been involved with starting. Like, what is, you talk a lot about passion, you talk a lot about vision, but what is so very critical if you're going to be successful as an entrepreneur? We've been, you know, we're really trying to figure out how we teach students about entrepreneurship. And so what do you think is really critical to have that entrepreneurial spirit to be successful?
You know, I think you have to not, you know, part of me says you like to win, but everybody likes to win. But it's, you have to have the perseverance to every day wake up and do something that you may not like doing, because it's on your way to reaching the goal. So a person who's an entrepreneur needs to be someone who's comfortable with risk, because it's not easy. It's not a job that you know will be there tomorrow. You're creating the job as an entrepreneur. And not only you're creating a job for yourself, but you're also creating a job normally for employees. And now you have a responsibility for them. So it's not for the faint of heart, and it's not for someone who doesn't like risk. They need to be very sure of themselves, because every day you're challenged and you think, wow, I don't know the first thing about what I'm doing suddenly, you know, and you doubt yourself because things aren't working exactly as you would hoped. So you have to be able to tell the difference between a daily type of reaction of, oh my God, where am I going to get that money to pay that bill, to what does this business as a whole look like, and be able to look at it from a bigger perspective.